Here's the issue, Mark. You and I are aging, and that it's hard to stop that.
Nope,
you know
it's
what I mean?
problematic.
So we can't do the things like we used to do, which is like, stay up late at the bar, then go get a burrito, and then wake up 4 hours later, and everything's fine. We need something. How about this, Mark? How about what I've been using? Terra Origin. Because adulthood, it's hitting hard. We're dealing with it. Middle-aged guys. My knees hurt. I hurt my wrist the other day. I punched a door. Shouldn't have done that. And now my wrist hurts. This is stuff that wasn't happening when I was young. So this is where Terra Origin comes in. Are you curious why I punched the door?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a different conversation, but if you've got Terra Origin, I'm sure that you're going to be able to get your way out of that mess.
Aaron Judge grounded into a double play. Anyway, Terra Origin makes science-backed, clean supplements designed to help men perform better, recover faster, and feel good every single day. They make smart, no BS supplements that actually help you feel human again, and that's why. This is the product that you need. The best part about Terra Origin, no fluff, no fads, just premium, transparent formulas you can trust. It's like upgrading your daily routine from survive to thrive. So whether you're lifting, leading, grinding, or parenting, Terra Origin helps you show up at your best. Visit TerraOrigin.com and use the code PODCAST for 30% off your first order and free shipping. That's TerraOrigin.com. Terra Origin. Feel better from the inside out. Hey, Dan here from Heed the Call. You know how in football, timing is everything? You miss your window by a second, and the play's already gone. The holidays are the same way. Everything happens fast, and if you're not ready, you're scrambling at the last minute. That's why Amazon Prime is the real MVP this season.
With Prime's fast, free shipping, you can make those last-minute calls look effortless. Forgot your Secret Santa gift? Need something for that office party? Prime's got your back, helping you go from uh-oh to all set faster than a 2-minute drill.
Absolutely, Mark, because Prime isn't just about getting things fast. It's about making sure you never miss your shot. It turns that last-minute scramble into a smooth holiday win. So this season, remember, Prime's fast delivery has your back during the holidays, especially when it's down to the wire and can't wait another minute. Last-minute gifts delivered, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to shop now.
I mean, our guys, they understand. They have a good feel for when they are and when they're not playing the way we need to play. And I saw Josh as I was kind of bringing everybody up, and he looked at me, and I just knew he was seeing it like I was, and then the entire team was on the same vibe.
Heyo! Week 15 in the NFL. We're going to go through all the games in one of the wildest weeks in recent memory. But let's start with the team that pulled off the great comeback of Week 15, the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, that was Sean McDermott talking about the indomitable spirit of one Josh Allen and the spirit, the never-say-die spirit that exists when Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, is your quarterback, because it is the Buffalo Bills who were the biggest story of Week 15. What they pulled off in Foxborough, down 21-0 in the second quarter, rally all the way back, putting 5 straight touchdown drives on the Patriots en route to a 35-31 win on what was supposed to be T-shirt and hat day. Not since, and don't worry, Patriots fans, I won't rub the salt in the wound too much in this show. Maybe, maybe not, but not since Game 6 in '86, when they had to hurry all the champagne out of the clubhouse after the Buckner era. Did they have to get the celebration gear out of the sight of a New England sports team? This was supposed to be a T-shirt and hat day for the Pats. Instead, it's a look in the mirror day, because they blew a lead that no one expected them to blow. Final score, as I said, 35-31. We're going to start right there. Connor, you had eyes on this game. I think we all had eyes on it, but you were assigned to it, so you're going to get us into the conversation, which was just a major statement of intent by the Bills, who very much have their designs not just on the AFC East, but Super Bowl 59 in San Francisco.
The reason that I felt like this was their Super Bowl game was how they approached the second half. And we've seen Bills losses throughout the year, or games when they get down by a lot of points, where the plan is just frantically to get the ball to Josh Allen and then force Josh Allen to do something Josh Allen-y. And that wasn't the case in this game. They scored before the half. They knew they were getting the ball back. And then that first drive was just methodical. I think they ran the ball on the first 6 plays of that drive out of the half. And while some of them were designed Josh Allen runs or one scramble, it was mostly like, hey, we're not leaving our game plan. We're not vacating what we came here to do. And I thought it just showed an incredible amount of maturity. And you just get those little plays. This defense was horrible, New England or Buffalo, but you get those little Matt Milano plays, those little Bosa plays, and it's just enough to push you over the edge and just enough to make you believe that the Super Bowl is theirs. I mean, I think that the AFC is theirs for sure.
It's in their dress rehearsal for this was last week, when they learned to do the same thing against the Bengals in a critical kind of season-defining win. This was even more season-defining. And to go out and put up 5 straight touchdown drives the way that they did, they clearly made awesome adjustments and just went and believed who they were in the second half. The other thing, though, I thought was that score before the half. We've seen these comebacks before, and everything felt completely different when that occurred. And it was the Bills' defense that made you think, I don't know if they can climb back into this. We were texting about it all day. Travion Henderson having a monster performance. And it's like, I don't know if these explosive plays exist, if the Bills can do enough to climb back in, but they did. And they held New England to 80 yards in the second half and just 7 points on 5 drives. The defense did its job as well.
Yeah, and that was the conversations, the back and forth that we were having on text. Yeah, it was centered on, Mark, you were kind of calling it from the onset of the rally. It was like, oh, this game's going to overtime. The Bills are coming back in this game. I was like, I need to see them get a stop. And I thought there were two big moments in this game. One was early that allowed the Patriots momentum to build and snowball, which was the Bills give up the initial drive where May goes right down the field, scores the rushing touchdown. The Bills get a great run back. They got 2 big run backs on kickoffs in this game that I think really helped them, especially, the second one more because of what happened after the first one. They get a run back to midfield. Allen throws his first great pass of the day to Brandon Cooks deep down the right sideline. He bobbles it, collects it, but gets pushed out of bounds, leading to an incompletion and then a 3 and out. And then the Patriots get the ball back and score again, 14-0. And then the Bills again, 3 and out the next drive. Pats score again. It's 21-0. And it's like, man, that was a huge momentum swing. Cook's not getting the game calmed down there. And you wondered if it just wasn't going to be their day. The other big stop, because I thought after they get it to 21-7, I'm thinking to myself, there's still 2 minutes on the clock. Can the Bills get the stop to do the Brady-Belichick special, which is score at the end of the half and then score coming out of the tunnel in the third to get this down to 7 points? They can't quite do it because they give up a field goal. But then after they do come out in the third quarter, Connor, and they score another touchdown, and now it's 24-14. They finally get the stop, and I think it ends with a sack by Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. But they get the stop, and the offense is allowed then to snowball in its own right, and then that's when the Patriots lose control of the game. So it took a while for Buffalo's defense to arrive, but when it did, it was just a reminder that they don't need to be perfect on defense because Allen is so magnificent. They just need to be about league average, and that's kind of where they got by the end of the game.
And I'll add too, I mean, my Bills suspicion in that early period, I think it was Boutte had that great supposed catch in air quotes on the sideline, and then New England got to run ahead and they got the playoff before you could even challenge it. I thought the ground maybe helped him control that ball, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, McDermott's not even on it today. Like they're just going to get waxed in this one. But I totally agree. It was a couple great pressure calls by Schein, who, we know is calling the defensive plays now. And I think as long as they're just well-timed enough to just supplement what is going on, I think Buffalo is going to be great. And I'll say this too. I've been hard on Joe Brady, but I thought that this was one of his best called games, and some of the packages that he rolled out just to diversify how Josh Allen is getting swing passes out, what's happening, like he would have 2 backs in the backfield and that other back was already out in front of the guy getting the ball, or he was faking off it and using that as part of the quarterback run game package. I thought this was one of Brady's better games too, which is a huge confidence builder for Buffalo as they get into the playoffs.
And when you get James Cook playing this way down the stretch in games, like he's just such a weapon for them. And It's little things too. It's like they are imperfect on defense, but the game, the fourth and five pass by May that is really going to decide this game is tipped by Joey Bosa. And it's like, he's not been a dominant player, but that's why you go get these guys for these key moments. Like, this is the game that we talked about. It's like the psychological acts. One of these teams is going to go back remembering like what they were. And the Bills can say, this is who we are. And the Patriots, this would have been a psychological, like, massive step for them to beat Buffalo. And instead they gave up. They're up 21-0 and you lose the game. Like, it's one of those losses that like sits with you. They're still a good team. It's a stepping stone for a team that didn't really, a lot of these players haven't had a lot of history with the Bills, but here you go. And it's like a crushing loss. And you could have won your division today.
Here's Vrabel after the game.
We were very prepared for this team. We were going to need 60 minutes to beat this team. It's a good football team. And we had a lot of good football in there. And we had some, a lot of plays that, a few plays that we'd like to have back that we'll have to learn from.
I mean, it was a collapse. When you're up 21-0 at home, you have to win the game if you are one of the best teams in football. When you get the touchdown, Travion Henderson, whose rookie year is now ascended to remember that guy everybody's talking about to the summer, to one of the best young running backs in football. When he has that 65-yard touchdown, I tweeted right after the Dawson Knox touchdown that put Buffalo up 28-24. Like, here's the first big test right now of the New England Patriots season. And you could talk about all you want that they did against the Bills a month and a half ago or whatever. Here we are now. We're in the middle of December. You have a 28-24 deficit right now. It's your ball in your building. And what do? They rip off a 65-yard touchdown run to go back up 31-28. And that's when Vrabel's defense needs to get the stop. And instead, they let the Bills go right down the field. 7 plays, 65 yards for the touchdown, and then after they get 2 more stops, Buffalo on defense, as they just got stronger and stronger as the game progressed. It was a failure of the big test, and like Mark said, this doesn't mean the Patriots are phonies or bad, okay? But it's like dynasties do not materialize overnight. They take time. They are earned. They're forged by fire, and they're not built off the backs of the Saints and the Titans and the Jets and the Giants. Great teams come out of the rubble of losses like this collapse. You're supposed to learn from them, like playoff heartbreak, getting knocked down, picking yourself back up so you can run through the brick wall that just put you on your ass. And the Patriots will get their chance in the weeks ahead to show what they're made of. But today, to me, was a test, and it's when they ultimately failed. And seeing how they bounce back from this starting next Sunday night in Baltimore is going to be fascinating.
And I thought you were dead on with that. That stat blew my mind, that when they got the ball right before the Travion Henderson score, it was the first time that they were trailing in the fourth quarter since week 3 against Pittsburgh. That's insane. Like, they've gone months and months of the season without facing this kind of attrition. And for the most part, I mean, what you really want is for it not to look too big for Drake May. And I don't think it ever really did. It's just the fact that Buffalo, you bring in Bosa for a reason. And while he's not going to be spectacular at this point for 4 quarters, he's going to help you close games in a way that you hoped Von Miller did and just didn't. And I think that that's kind of another good sign for Buffalo, is that these guys that you're putting in little positions just to do these things late in games are also getting them done.
And your key, if you're the Patriots, is, okay, it's not a micro collapse, but the macro collapse would be over the next 3 weeks, you lose the division. Buffalo has sandwiched around an Eagles game, tilts with the Browns and Jets. So they're either going 3-0 or 2-1, and you've now you haven't swept them, and so you're vulnerable.
We'll 2 last points, and then we're going to move on. Number 1. Entering today, the Patriots had won 104 consecutive home games when leading by 21-plus points. And that includes the playoffs. That streak ends. And number 2, Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt. I mean, if Josh Allen had the best performance of the day up in Foxborough, those guys had a great game on the call. And I made me think at one point, shit, when CBS convenes at whatever luxury resort in Cabo where all the suits convene, will they like go back to this game and it feels like the AFC Championship game and say, I think this is our best team now? and maybe Romo, despite all the money, Jim Nantz, despite all the money, might slip down the power rankings. Just so many subplots to unpack out of this game. We could talk about this game for another 20 minutes. It was fascinating, but we have to move on. Connor, you want to put a button on it?
No, just that. I mean, I was just going to say that I would think it was the sack of Milano when he broke through the double team. It was like Henderson and I think the Patriots center that had him. Watt was like off his ass and in the air and reliving that in the moment. And I just thought, yeah, like this is exactly what it's supposed to be. So I loved it. It was great.
Put the hats, put the t-shirts back in the closet for at least 1 week. All right, Mark. Now, if you want to say the Buffalo Bills are under pressure, down 21-0, that ain't nothing compared to the Cess Dog right now. Because not since George W. Bush climbed the mountain at Yankee Stadium with the bulletproof jacket on and fired a strike has a man been under such a spotlight. And just as our nation turned to the president for comfort in the year 2001, so too does he, the call, right now look to Mark Edwards Sessler not to up the theme of the week for Week 15. This perhaps the most impactful and storyline drunk Sunday in recent NFL history. Take it away, Sessy.
Okay, the theme of the week is this: glorious procreation from every possible position known to man.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's break it down. Glorious procreation from every possible position known to man. Oh, good luck with the podcast title later tonight, Justin. Connor, take a crack.
Okay, I think I've gotten pretty good at decoding Mark at this point, and I think he means that there was beauty from so many different facets and angles and game styles and types this week, and I think that it helped lift up Week 15 into something that we already expected to be great, but was great, I think, for myriad reasons.
Ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No notes.
Ding. Yeah.
And not all of it was glorious, because we're gonna get to some heartbreak and some crushing injuries to the league's biggest stars, including.
Well, I will say one thing.
Yes.
My theme, it was one of these things where it was like a living, breathing document, because earlier on there was a lot of darkness, and so it's like, what do we come out with in the end? Like, sometimes procreation can hurt too. It can be a problematic situation. So, but you're right. There are some dark things that occurred and unfolded.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons blew out their knees within a couple of hours of each other. I mean, massive. I mean, the Chiefs took a dirt nap. They're done. The Chiefs are eliminated on December 14th.
Amazing.
And, maybe history will get foggy now. People look back, the year that Mahomes blew out his knee. No, man. They were good before that ever happened.
They were.
I mean, they could have won today and been in the... They're still in the mix, but gone. All right, we'll get to that. Good job, Cessy. I think you did it. That's a strike. You're a real George W. Bush. Save it for the next newsletter.
Well, I don't know if was that my target. Like ultimately, I don't agree with a lot of the things that he did.
Back to back
in that moment,
like the Bash Brothers, like one of those old posters. Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco. Not
dealing with weapons of mass destruction mythologies, but simply that pitch right there. Yes,
I see those massive weapons of mass destruction. It's underneath that overcoat.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
All right. We move on. We roll on because there's a lot of great games to get to. Let's head to Mile High. I mean, dismiss the Denver Broncos at your own peril, but they continue to ace every test on their schedule. Bo Nix tied his career high, 4 touchdown passes. And the Denver defense does what the Denver defense does. Putting Jordan Love into a funk in the second half as the Broncos take the game 34-26 over the Packers, who, as we said, lost Micah Parsons to a season-ending knee injury. It's a torn ACL. That's it. I mean, a crushing setback for the Packers. Let's just start here. I mean, if you fashioned the Packers a true Super Bowl contender, and I did, certainly. I think I had them 3. They're 3 in our power rankings for a reason. he was the difference maker. When that trade went down, that was like, okay, that's the guy. That's the final piece. If this all comes together, we'll look back on it. And now he's gone. So how the Packers respond to that and respond off this loss now at 9-4-1 will be fascinating. And you just feel terribly for Parsons, and but that's just the nature of the game. So the Broncos 11 straight wins. They clinch a playoff berth, and this win coupled with the Patriots loss that we just talked about, they now have control of the number 1 seed, and they're in the driver's seat there, 2 games ahead of the Chargers in the AFC West. So, I think in a nutshell, Mark, this was such a great Broncos snapshot because they always seem to face adversity in these games. In this case, they're down 23-14 in the third quarter. Micah Parsons is healthy and causing havoc. It seems like the Packers are gaining momentum, and it seems like they're going to overwhelm Denver and make the big statement in the NFC like what the Bills did in the AFC. But instead they said, you know what? We're going to calm this shit down, and we're going to take control of the game, and that's exactly what they did.
I think it had a lot to do with their defense, too, because there was a sideline shot of Vance Joseph going absolutely nuclear after a 29-yard shot to Jaden Reed. And they are the second best team in the league at not allowing explosive plays, but they allowed Jordan Love to have 6 completions in the first half of 22-plus yards. So it was not going their way. But then they tightened the ship, and you combine that because that's I feel like they could beat anyone. When you combine what they did in the second half with, I think, the best game we've seen from Bo Nix, who opens 11 for 12 with 122 and 2 touchdowns and really just never let up. His thing has been inconsistency, streaks, or bad first halves where he's had to come back and make up for it. And he was from wire to wire, like the quarterback you want to see today. So the combination of that can beat the Packers. They can beat pretty much anyone. I don't know about Buffalo, but I do think they're good enough to get to the AFC title game if you get these players to play this way, especially at quarterback.
And let's be real. I mean, if they do hold on to this number 1 seed, you get a week off, and then everything goes through Mile High, where they've been unstoppable. I mean,
Tough place to play.
This is perfectly set up, and yeah, with when their backs are against the wall in this game, their superstar cornerback Patrick Surtain made the game-changing play. He's in coverage on Christian Watson. He picks the pass off. He lands on Watson, injuring Watson inadvertently and knocking Watson out of the game, which was a big problem for Jordan Love. And then they turn that into points, and they kind of never look back from there. So they check so many boxes, Connor. And one of them is like, who are the guys? Who are the dudes? And that's one of the crushing things about the Packers. Like Parsons was the Jenga piece of their defense. Surtain is for the Broncos, and he helped them come up with yet another comeback here.
So this was on simultaneously. I was locked into a cable fiasco here where I could only watch the Rams or the Broncos at once, and I obviously had some massive lock onions hanging on that Rams
More
game.
Like misadventures in cable television.
Yeah, right. But what it seemed like
Adventures in cable television.
It's wild out there in 1997. It gets crazy for Connor.
But it seemed like they did this all despite the best efforts of Sean Payton. Like it seemed like every time I was turning the Broncos game on, he was making some very strange situational coaching decisions that did not seem to add anything to the situation.
I mean, how about the way he closed out the game in two situations, rather than punting or playing it safe from midfield when it's a 1-score game? He turns it loose on 4th down incompletion, and then late in the game, I think with about 2 minutes to play, I might be off a little bit on that, but they decide to run it on 4th and 3, I believe it was, instead of punting it deep. That fails too, so they fail on 2 attempts to close the game, and I understand. It's like I get. He believes in his offense and his dudes, but he left them wide open. And if that would have ever turned into a Packers touchdown and 2-point conversion that somehow led to them losing the game, he would have been killed for it. But instead, he survives. And here is one of the main reasons why the Broncos survive and are in the driver's seat. Bo Nix, after the game, Tracy Wolfson, the Broncos, I think we might have talked about this on Thursday, they were underdogs in their building on a 10-game winning streak, and Wolfson did a nice job teeing up the quarterback about that.
Bo, congratulations. What a game. You guys came in winners of 10 straight, now 11, but you were the underdogs. What did this team show against a really difficult Packers team?
That we're the overdogs.
That dude could be my quarterback, man. I like the cut of his jib.
Don't you feel like there's going to be a section of people that just still don't believe in him?
I mean, if that's still the case, go start watching the games. Start watching the games instead of just, whatever the highlights are telling you or what you're reading from certain people that might not like the cut of his jib. But to me, like, he's an imperfect player at times. He could be hot and cold. It might take him time to warm up. But when he does, he's always playing at his highest when the chips are down. And this game happened to be different, though. This game was one where he was locked in from the start and was able to secure a huge victory. On the opposite side of victory is Justin Graver, who locked against the Denver Broncos. And that quote from Bo, who knows? Maybe he's a listener to Heed the Call. It might have been at you as well.
That's one of those people who doesn't believe in the Broncos right there.
I didn't. I admit, before this game, I thought their offense would really struggle against the Packers defense. And I'd love to say, I wasn't expecting Micah Parsons to tear his AC. No, they started pretty fast. I mean, I know they jumped out to the lead first and whatever. I'll eat the crow on this one. The Broncos impressed me. And I look forward to seeing how far they can get in the playoffs in a pretty weak AFC where all the quarterbacks seem to be falling out of the picture. So
keep going up higher register as you finish the higher I go, the more if this makes you feel better, Justin, you did not have the most clueless lock of Week 15. So stay tuned. You might feel a little bit better about that. All right, there we go. Broncos in the driver's seat. Packers life without their best defensive player, maybe their best player altogether. What a crazy day. And we're just getting started. Let's take a break, and then we'll move to SoFi Stadium. You know, Mark, I was looking at my phone bill the other day, and honestly, it felt like someone stole a little bit of my holiday joy, my soul even.
I get it. You know, I'm sorry to hear that. I was in that boat too until I switched to Mint Mobile. And right now, all their unlimited plans are 50% off. 3, 6, or 12-month plans for just $15 a month. It's their best deal of the year, and Dan, it makes it so easy to finally give your old overpriced plan the Scrooge treatment, okay? I kept my phone, brought my number over, and the service is fantastic. High-speed data, unlimited talk and text, all on the nation's largest 5G network. No contracts, no nonsense, and I'm saving a ton compared to my old provider. I use this, and you should too.
The Scrooge treatment. I like that. Well, you know, that sounds great, buddy. So if you want to take control of your wireless bill and actually enjoy your service, now's the perfect time to switch. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/heedthecall. That's mintmobile.com/heedthecall.
Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 35 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
All right, we are back. Okay, Lions-Rams mega showdown in LA. Let's do it. Matthew Stafford passed for 368 yards, hooked up with Colby Parkinson on 2 of his 3 touchdowns, and the Rams clinch a playoff berth behind a big-time rally over a Lions team that did not know what to do with itself, especially on the defensive side of the ball in the second half. 41-34. The Rams improved to 11-3, and the Detroit Lions, oh boy. The Detroit Lions, it's getting late early, Sessdog, because their playoff hopes took a major hit with this one.
And this came after an incredible first half effort by the Lions, where on the first drive by Matthew Stafford and the Rams, Aiden Hutchinson ropes in a pass near the line of scrimmage, rumbles with it like 58 yards, and they score on the next play to Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're up 7-0 right out of the gate. Stafford looked shaky on the next drive as well, and Puka Nacua had a really rare drop. And you're kind of thinking, like, are they throwing this team off? But the Rams go on to score on that drive. Karen Williams, it's tied, and from there, the Rams were just simply unstoppable. And I have not seen a performance like this from a wide receiver this season. Puka Nacua was literally incredible. Career high 9 catches, 181 yards. At one point, it looked like he got severely injured, but it was simply cramps. And they brought him back in a couple minutes later, and he does a sweep to help end the game. It was a fascinating performance by both teams because they combined for 915 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown was equally a star to Puka Nacua for the first half of this game. Goff was so super dialed in, but the Rams are just unstoppable. And the one thing they can do is sort of break you down with that run game. It was drive after drive after drive, and Stafford just got totally dialed in, and they looked like the kind of team that I don't know how you beat them. I don't know how you beat them because this was the best the Lions and their stars had to give the Rams, and it wasn't nearly enough. Not in the end.
It's crazy too, because I keep watching these games and I look at like someone like Terrence Ferguson and I'm like, he's one of the best 3 or 4 players on the field and he's getting 2 targets a game. And there's going to be one playoff game where he has like 11 catches for 640 yards and 6 touchdowns. And you just know it's coming. And you can sense it with these teams that they can just hide star power and they're just using it as window dressing right now, but it's going to matter at some point. And the fact that they still haven't had to go there is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny because watching this game, it's like at one point I tweeted about it. It's like, you know, the Rams don't seem quite like themselves in the first half. They didn't have any penalties until late in the game, so it wasn't like sloppy from that standpoint. But there were a couple kind of botched snaps on shotguns with Stafford. His passes, his timing seemed a little bit off. He had the interception, obviously, that set up the first touchdown. The pass rush wasn't getting home against Goff, which kind of surprised me, quite frankly, how much time Goff had in this game. And yet, even in an imperfect game, to your point, once they turn it on, and especially once the offense locks in, there's no team in the league outside maybe Buffalo, when Buffalo gets on one of their runs, where it's just like, you're done. There's no stopping them once the engine starts turning. And this is a game where Devontae Adams exits with a hamstring. Looked like the type of hamstring, and they're playing on a short week this week. I'd be very surprised if you see him on Thursday night. You might not even see him till January. You never know but with these guys. But if you take Adams out of the game, that's going to change some of the things they can do. But I thought it was even telling on that. He goes out with the hamstring injury, and then a couple plays later, they're in the end zone anyway on a touchdown pass to the tight end. So Stafford can do anything he wants if you give him the time. The pass protection, another thing, the pass protection wasn't always great in this game for Stafford. He took some shots. It's something you got to watch out for. But even in a non-clean game by Ram standards, when they've been in full flight this season, it still was enough to run the Lions out of the building ultimately. I
think also it was another example of them not shying away from 13 personnel, but leaning into it. We've heard a lot about that, but they have tight ends who can catch the ball, who are weapons. And also it's not out of like fear that they're doing that. It's out of absolute strength. And the running back group, like Karen Williams is just like, he is on one. Blake Corum, the same. They antidote each other so well, and they both stay fresh and hammer you down the stretch. And it leaves the Detroit Lions with a 40% chance to make the playoffs. Had they won, it would have been 73%. So it is a game changer for Detroit.
I have it. According to ESPN analytics, it's down to 34%.
Well, that could have been from other game results too, but that's where it was before the game.
They have a 1 in 3 chance of getting in. I think everybody wants, the Lions to get in, unless you're an NFC North fan of a different team, Connor. But like, it's getting to the point now where we said this about the Chiefs, and now the Chiefs are history. But with the Lions, like, they keep kind of telling us who they are over and over again, that they can't do enough on defense to put together complete games. It's putting too much pressure on the offense on a week-by-week basis. And on a day where the Rams did a nice job bottling up Jahmyr Gibbs, it made them once again look not quite as dynamic as they've been in the past.
Yeah, just the inability to put two good offensive halves together. But on the Rams side of that, I mean, the adjustments that were made on halftime, it was like 270 yards from the Lions in the first half and then 110 in the second half. And Shula has been one of the best second half adjustment defensive coordinators in the NFL, a hallmark of that Super Bowl team when they had Brandon Staley, who was also that way, got a head coaching job afterwards. So something to think about there.
You're right. The Lions came out after a super hot first half with 3 straight punts and didn't really work the way out of that the way that you'd want. People will kill us if we don't show an image of this Colby Parkinson touchdown where he is clearly not. They sent this to review. He's clearly not at the line of scrimmage. He's not at the end zone. He did not break the plane, and they called this a touchdown. And it's like this went to review. I was left baffled. Everyone was.
I knew what it was immediately, and that's why I was surprised why Burkhardt and Brady whiffed on it, because you saw the ball moving, and that's where the lines came up. I think Thomas, the defender, comes up, and he's going incomplete, and it was like when it was clear that he was down short at this point. So the only thing that it could have been was he didn't actually secure it until he was over the goal line, which is exactly what happened according to replay officials. Now, you could argue that there was no clear angle that that's indeed what happened, but that's what the call was. Even when Brady and Burkhardt came back, they're like, I still don't understand it. The ball's moving when he's down here, but when he secures it, he's on the goal line. And let's be honest, the Rams are going in the end zone either way on this. Right. But I mean, it's, I guess I thought Brady and Burkhardt, another team that's on the rise, I think, had a good game here. In fact, you have a Brady. Brady went full Vilma at one point, which I don't usually endorse Jonathan Vilma like broadcasting techniques, but it's kind of funnier when it's Tom Brady. Let's play this, Justin.
And then a one ball by Stafford. How many of these have we seen in this building? Not a no look, but just an absolute piss missile right to the middle of the field. 1 foot in front of the numbers. I love that.
Tom,
that's amazing.
Piss missile.
Burkhardt's like, that's amazing. Tom, like, listen, we're not wilting flowers over here at Heed the Call. We love it. But when you're the number one team for Fox on national television on Sunday afternoon, piss missile is not the preferred nomenclature. That's all.
No, you go for
children
it, baby.
Present.
I loved it.
I love a good piss missile. Like,
hell yeah,
I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite terms. It's a term also in baseball, like a line drive or a shot up the gap or one that's just rising as it goes over the fence. Oh, look at that piss missile. Using it on a Sunday afternoon in the NFL, Tom, my hat's off, buddy. You showed me a little something there. You almost seemed human.
He's getting better.
Anything else on this game?
No, I just feel like for some of these teams, we're losing these teams we were assured of in the playoffs, and we're losing a lock. Someone's losing a lock. Oh, Connor.
Oh, Connor, baby. Connor, what happened, buddy?
What do you mean what happened? I almost pulled off despite your ridiculous fucking rules like a great win.
Dun, 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 dun. Connor,
shit.
Mark, you could back me up on this. Justin, you can back me up on this. Connor talking so much shit in our text thread about just wait until, because if you don't know, if you didn't you didn't listen to the Thursday show, Connor locked up the Rams looking for an easy victory, and what happens? They're outside the lock zone. They were at, what was it, 6.5?
Six flat.
6. So when you go over 5 or above, you got to double the spread cover. So he had to cover 12. And then late, Mark, in the game, what is it? They have it covered, and he is doing victory dances in the text thread. And we said, hold on there, Buster Brown. This game's not over yet. And you end up eating dirt in a big spot.
Well, and I think I don't know if the editors at Sports Illustrated would love this, but I think Connor wrote about roughly 1,200 words on this lock and the chances of him winning it. So
it's like Connor's editor, like calling him, hey man, your deadline was 2 hours ago. He's like, nah, I've been plugged in on doubling up this lock. Cause Hanzus hit me with the blind lock and it's a bullshit rule. And he's like, sir, this is Sports Illustrated. So anyway, that was a little humble pie for you in a big spot.
I mean, humble pie is tough, but that's a strong word. But
let's see. Let me find some of these Connor texts. Let's see.
There was a bit of controversy after the show because when I made the board with the spreads.
Yeah. Let's talk about that shit, huh?
It was a 6-point spread, but by the time the episode actually came out after Thursday Night Football that night, it had dropped to 5.5.
Yeah, but that's not how we
That's
do
not
it.
how it works. Yeah, that's
11
A bunch
points,
change.
12 points. Either way, doesn't matter. Rams only won by 7, so you still would have lost, Connor. Sorry.
yeah.
I mean, are we doing any quality control at what time Graver's checking all these? Like, are they uniform across the board? There's a lot of questions I have about how.
Well, we're not supposed to look at them, so that is a loophole that perhaps.
Imagine Justin
can't
having
battle.
access to the spreads and still doing as poorly as he's doing in the competition. By the way, Goff, Connor, one text he had when it was in doubt. Goff picked 6, and I will donate $31 to the ASPCA to get a frozen dog out of the cold. That dog's still freezing its ass off wherever it is.
Yeah, well, should have helped me win the game.
And I think you said Jesus, your move, and so it's the fault of Jesus that
Right.
animal remains trapped.
I mean,
Connor,
when you
a
put it
good-
in God's hands, yeah.
I was going to say, a good Catholic boy using the Lord's name in vain. You were like just spitting in the sky, as my mom would say. Don't spit in the sky.
Whatever it takes to win.
All right, let's head to Arrowhead. I said it last week. I said it to Sheil on his show. Don't mess around. Don't mess around with the Chargers in games like this. George Bernard Shaw, the Irish playwright, said, I learned long ago never to wrestle with the pig. You get dirty, and besides, the pig likes it. You're going to play a 16-13 game against the Chargers, you're going to fucking lose. Because the Bolts like rolling in the mud. Not only did they get a key win to move to 10-4 and solidify their playoff standings, they officially end the Chiefs' season. And yes, Patrick Mahomes in this game goes out with a knee injury, later diagnosed as a torn ACL, and he has the first major injury of his brilliant career. We'll see him next year, but not before a long rehab ahead. So a major, major shift in our league in this game. Mahomes going out. I guess we'll start there because that's the Chargers are the story because they're the team that's going to be in the playoffs, and the Chiefs obviously were a very flawed team ultimately this year. But when Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL, that's what we lead with. Here's a Mahomes tweet shortly after the game. Don't know why this had to happen, and not going to lie, it hurts, but all we can do now is trust in God and attack every single day over and over again. Thank you, Chiefs Kingdom, for always supporting me, and for everyone who has reached out and sent prayers. I will be back stronger than ever, with a clock emoji. Here is defensive star Chris Jones on the failure of a season and the loss of the GOAT.
Every year is a journey, man, and success is rented every year. Every year you get to rent success, and sometimes it don't go the way you plan for it to go. And it's a learning curve for you guys. You know what I mean? Especially us. I think we learned a lot along this year. And, we can be mad at ourselves and we can ask God why, but at times it's more so a lesson that you've been taught along the journey, and we'll be selfish to ask God why right now, why this. More so understand it, build from it. We love Pat. That's my guy. It's Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, thanks to Dr. Ruth for all that. That was really something. Am I the only one that thinks that this is going to be one of the better things to happen to Mahomes? Like, even if you look at the tweet, it's like, why God does this have to happen? Like, this guy has played 20 more games, like an entire season plus, than other people. He's utterly exhausted. The entire city of Kansas City, the economy is rested on his shoulders. Like, this guy needs a fucking break. He just needs to be able to chill out and enjoy his life. And when you are consumed by the pursuit of greatness like he is, sometimes just forcing yourself to sit on a training table for 8 months is maybe the best thing that can happen to you. And, maybe the Chiefs lose a couple more games and they get into the top 10 and they actually get a cost-controlled tentpole player at another position that they can afford, and it's going to be great. And like some of these things just need to happen naturally anyway. And I don't know. I don't get the doom and gloom on this. Yes, it sucks, but
Connor,
like,
I see where you're coming from, and there is a way to spin this: is okay, everything ends, and it's now time to go away and dream it all up again. But you're a franchise quarterback and the best player in team history, and the most important NFL player of the last 10 years. Blowing out his knee and needing reconstructive surgery, that's tough. I mean, that is, and there's a lot of God stuff thrown around. We could talk about why that happens so much in sports, but it is what it is. Like, I think part of the reason why, Mark, is he just seemed in a league where everybody gets hurt. He just seemed like a guy that always got back up and is like, look at the Super Bowls with the ankle injury and all that. The injury bug never came for him like it's come for everyone else. So when it finally does come for him, that is just, it takes a little bit of like reassessing the league landscape as a result.
Well, and him being, carried down the tunnel, it encapsulates for me the whole Chiefs season. I think to Conor's point, it's not the injury specific part of it. That's not fun, and that doesn't make you better necessarily production wise. But I feel relief that this Chiefs season didn't go to the final week. That it's just, let's be real. This is who we are as this team. They've got a lot of work to do beyond Patrick Mahomes' health all over that roster. And it's a bit of a wake up call. And It is tough to do these seasons year after year where you're playing an extra 2, 3, 4 games, and they've done it as well as anyone, but it's like this was not that team. And it was like they ran up against the wrong Chargers team today. And I think it had a lot to do with like a rubber stamped Jim Harbaugh type victory at home in tough weather. This Chargers team is not the pushover outfit that we've known for years.
Although you weren't exaggerating, Connor. And just speaking to the greatness, he's an all-time player. He's played 21 playoff games in his career. And in that time, 17-4, 46 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, all the titles, 5 trips, I think, to the Super Bowl. He's an all-time player. So it's just, it's a massive story. And we're going to have Pete Sweeney on the show on Wednesday on the End Around show, a flashpoint focus on the Chiefs and what comes next. And to talk about what comes next for the Chiefs. Connor, put a bow on the Chiefs, and then we'll swing to the Chargers.
Well, it's just like the way that you said it, right? We thought that he was immune to these kinds of things. Like the injury bug didn't happen for Patrick Mahomes. We've been talking about him like he's a space alien for 8 years. And he needs a chance to be a human being. This is an opportunity to be a human being. I think that only good can come of this. And we're in the ACL reconstruction era. He's probably going to be ready by like October at the latest. And his ACL will probably be stronger than
Nothing
it was.
Bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Thank you, Donald. All right, the Charger side of it. Herbert, who, playing through a broken hand, which is crazy. He takes them to another very tough victory. But again, it's the defense that carries the Chargers here. And, for everything the Chiefs had went through, and the season's obviously over the second that Mahomes goes down there, but Minshew has them going into field goal range with a chance to at least push the game to overtime, and the Chargers see what happens after that. But then Derwin James has an interception and coverage on Travis Kelce, and again you see Kelce take the chin strap off, and he knows that was a terrible pass by Minshew, who we like, but like that was a stage for him. Then it failed on the stage. The Chargers make the big plays. They win ugly. That's what they do.
They are all these teams are injured. But the thing about them each week is can they survive the loss of 2 tackles, right? And this Chiefs team went after Herbert. There was one play where it was 7-3 or something, and he got blasted, and that was his pick. And he just takes such punishment. He did last week. He did again this week. He's playing with a broken hand. And I still thought he made a couple throws in this game to keep things alive that were such money plays. And I understand why Harbaugh has that faith in him. And I know there's verbal hyperbole, but it starts to not be in these key moments. And we're still waiting for that one game from Herbert in the biggest key spot, and it will come in January. That kind of is like his signature win. But there are these moments laced in each one of these games where he is that guy.
Yeah, and And Harbaugh, yes, we've been tracking it all season, is deep admiration / crush on Justin Herbert. But now he's fallen for the whole team. This was a quote he had after the game. It's a ball team. This is a ball team. Starting to think this is my favorite ball team that I've ever been on. I've been on a lot of teams. None better than this team. It's a ball team. A real ball team. Love these guys. And then,
a nursery rhyme.
And then Derwin James added, we know what that team has done the last 8-9 years, referring to the Chiefs. Coming into Arrowhead Stadium and getting a win, it means a lot for our team because we're 5-0 in our division. Another team in the AFC that's not always pretty, but they continue to check boxes and prove their mettle. This is going to be an incredible AFC playoff this year. The Chiefs are gone, and you have teams like the Broncos, like the Chargers, like the Patriots, like the Bills. They're going to make this very, very interesting to see how it all shakes out, because you could make a case for any of those teams I just mentioned. And that's not even getting into what's going on in the AFC South. With all of a sudden, are the two superpowers rising in the AFC South? Spicy meatball. How about that? All right. Here we go. What a day of football. Let's keep rolling. Let's go to Seattle. Oh, man. Let's talk about the old man bowl.
Yes.
Grandpa bowl. I will say I was just a little bit disappointed.
Really?
When Adam Schein, who was on our show and was brilliant last week, we did the mock updates.
So good.
And one of them was Phillip Rivers throws his first touchdown pass after coming out of retirement. And I think I opened it with dad strength. And I had my fingers crossed after Phil threw the touchdown pass. Will Schein do it? Would have been a huge moment for HTC, alas.
I think we would have asked your permission.
Dan, do you think it would be okay? I know it was farce, but it could work.
I didn't hear him unfurl a report on the Boston Tea Party either, which that was my only downfall moment.
Another disappointment as well. Anyway, Phil Rivers did really well. I mean, for considering this was a guy off the couch, a little heavier than he used to be. Should have been rusty. Should have had no chance against the Seattle Seahawks. But instead, he goes 18 for 27, 120 yards, throws that touchdown, throws a late pick that seals their doom. But all in all, it was probably an upgrade over what they would have gotten otherwise. But in the end, the Seattle Seahawks got a big performance from one of their underappreciated heroes this season, Jason Myers, who goes 6 for 6. Including the game winner from 56 out in the final seconds, allowing the Seahawks to escape with an 18-16 victory over Phillip Rivers and the Colts. Justin, the storybook ending was there after Blake Rupe hits the field goal, but they left too much time on the clock, and Darnold and Seattle got it set up, and then, things don't always get the happy ending that you want. The Seahawks were there to win, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I think the happy ending was the friends we made along the way. And by that, I mean getting to see Phil go out there, sling the rock around. He looked a bit his age, but you could also
I wouldn't say he was slinging it.
He was
pushing it.
Yeah.
He pushes. That's how he always threw it. There was a little push.
No, that's true. He always kind of shot-putted the ball, even in the best of days. Hey, he had that one play, Justin, where he stumbled and then he peeled himself back up and then he got taken down for the sack. And all I could think to myself, it reminded me of that iconic video of you attempting to dunk on draft night when you were doing the dunks and your
parallels
fiance was videotaping it, and like all the other guys in this gym were just kind of like looking at you like, are you supposed to be here, man? Like, that's the feeling I got of the eyes on Phil. But, he did. I thought he acquitted himself well overall. Should we check in on Phil Rivers after the game?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Hopefully, certainly I think of my sons and those ball players, that I'm in charge of at the school, that they'll say, like, crap, coach wasn't scared. You know what I mean? It's like, shoot, sometimes there is doubt, and it's real. And, again, you can the guaranteed safe bet is to go home or to not go for it, and the other one is shoot. Let's see what happens, And so, I hope that in that sense that it can be a positive to some young boys, or young people. It doesn't have to be boys, but.
You hear that, Mark? Young people. The old Sessler blanket statement. I love that move.
How about to older people? But sure, young and old.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I think the value that Rivers brought to this lineup as the Colts quarterback is not seen in the box score where you mentioned his stats, but 120 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The value is in the mental processing side. It reminds you a lot of watching Peyton Manning on the Broncos where, the defense carried them to a big extent, and I will agree with that. But it's also the quarterback reading the defense pre-snap, getting them in the right run looks, throwing with anticipation. He had one throw that he fit in a zone window between 2 closing defenders to Tyler Warren that's just that's something you're not getting from Riley Leonard, for example. And I was curious to see, because it felt like he wasn't pushing the ball down the field at all, which I don't even know if he is capable of. So I went and pulled up his pass chart, and that did seem to be the case. Only completed 2 passes attempted further than 10 yards downfield, almost everything at and around the line of scrimmage. But
that's how it felt, too, watching it. Yep.
Yeah.
But that can work for a short period of time if you have a strong running game and if your defense is flying around. The Colts defense was just so aggressive and ferocious today against the Seahawks. They didn't give up a touchdown. They did give up, like you said, 6 field goals, which is why they lost the game. But when Groupie hit that one through with too much time left, I really thought the Colts defense was going to come up with another big stop. And Darnold found his weapons down the field, big chunk play after big chunk play, and they got in position to win the game. It's
like the one little event that didn't quite go dramatically correct in certain ways that would have made today even more on tilt. But one thing I thought about, the fact that watching Rivers along the sideline, I'm sure, you're in your first game. At one point I read a headline, Phillip Rivers has engineered his first scoring drive in 5 years. It kind of struck me as it's been a long time. And it's even being on the sideline and you're still getting to know your teammates, he started to heat up emotionally and be the Phillip Rivers full of joy and fire that we've known in the past. And we're not going to get that deep ball. He had a couple. When he tried to throw deep, some awful stuff happened. So I don't know if that's possible, but what I do think is he's an incredible leader, and he might just become more and more comfortable to diagnose that Seahawks defense specifically in this quick a time, because that's not a defense he knew very well when he was still playing. Things have changed, and to go and do that today the way he did, and kind of right out of the gate, he looked, I wouldn't say comfortable, not physically, but he was there mentally, and it's that's Phillip Rivers, and that's what we're going to get. And I thought it was wonderful to watch.
Daddy's taking his Prevagen, baby. But to your point, Justin, to add to that, I don't think that defense plays as well if you're just going to go with Riley Leonard. And I think that was a super spirited performance. But I think interesting, too, that much like the Colts, and earlier in the season, we were like, why is everybody giving Daniel Jones so much respect? Why aren't they just pounding Jonathan Taylor? I do think that we're starting to see some of the cracks in Seattle's offense in the same way, where, they were kind of pounding on Jackson Smith and Jigba. It was really until they started breaking off Shaheed's routes and trying to use him as more of a 10 to 15 yard receiver that they started getting some of those chunk plays. And I do wonder if we saw a nice little blueprint on how to attack Seattle. Now, JSN ended up breaking out because he's going to break out. But another one of those teams that you're playing that doesn't have Phillip Rivers might already have 30 points at that point. You know what I mean? So I thought it was this is one of those blueprint games that I think could maybe matter further on towards the end of the season.
Like Phillip Rivers, I was born in at the beginning of the 1980s, and but I might have been the only person without a rooting interest for either of the teams rooting hard against the Colts in that spot, because the Colts have now lost 4 in a row. The Colts finished the season, boys. I don't know if we've checked in on the Colts schedule, but the Colts finished the season now. Home 49ers, home Jaguars, at Texans. 7 in a row is in play to end the season, and checking in on that New York Jets draft pick.
Oh.
It is all
That's what this
the
is
way
all
up.
about. Absolutely.
It is all the way up to number 18 now. Let's go. Father Time is undefeated, baby.
I think they could go 2-1 in this stretch and beat the Texans. I don't think they're out of it. I don't think they're out of it.
I agree. I think
like
you
they're
said,
going to go 2-1.
The defense feels confident that the other side of the ball can at least give them something, to the point where, like, when Brady showed up in Tampa Bay, it was like all of a sudden their defense was a top unit in the league because they know who's on the other side. Yep. And I think that can be a big factor.
Counterpoint. The Colts played defense above their punching weight in this game because of all the juice around this game, and now the slow deflation of their season. That's also
but they
possible.
were missing Sauce Gardner. DeForest
Sure
Buckner's
are.
not in there.
That's the way it is. They missed Ward. They missed Gardner. They missed Daniel Jones. They can't run the ball anymore. They got a 44-year-old quarterback behind center who can't throw the ball more than 10 yards downfield. I'm just saying. It would have been a great story. But it's also possible this team is going to end the season on a 7-game losing streak. It is certainly possible.
When you want to make an argument for the NFL to be rigged, they're playing San Francisco on Monday Night Football.
Oh, cool. That's fun. Like, we get the Rivers Monday night game, too?
Hell
At least
yeah.
we're getting that out of this season. That is cool. That's fun.
And you know,
All right.
Dan, when you're doing your little like song and dance here,
Yeah.
like to celebrate, like it brings back memories of when you'd get into an argument with with your guy friends at the 6th grade lunch table, and like some guys just like taking W's for something it has nothing to do with. But I
do, Mark. It has everything to do with me. I'm a fan of the New York Jets. The Colts' success or failure directly impacts.
From a larger dramatic angle, we would have wanted Phillip Rivers to win that game.
Yeah,
right.
Come on, man.
You did. I wanted him to play well and lose. He kind of did. And now I want him to continue to play pretty well, not die, and lose.
It was the best way to lose.
Yes.
Lose. I'll be the bad guy here. Razor Ramon, I'm the bad guy. I need that pick to be in the top 12. All right.
Okay, Billie Eilish. Last thing.
What?
I don't know.
I'm the bad guy. She has a song called
Oh, yeah, no, I
Bad
got
Guy.
it. Okay, good. Yep. That's a good one. We got to move, but what do you got, Justin?
I do think it's worth pointing out that Darnold was under fire this entire game, and a lot of times we've seen him crumble in those situations. And in this one, with the game on the line and under a minute to play, I think, he drove them into field goal range with multiple on-point throws. So that's just like good to see.
He's been a lot better the last couple of weeks after a very deep slump. And yeah, he's a figure of suspicion when you talk about the Super Bowl contenders. But yeah, he's had a couple good games in a row. Didn't get in the end zone here, but yeah, made big throws when it mattered most. Let's take a break, and then we continue on in this crazy Week 15. Switching to Chime was one of the easiest financial moves I've ever made. I didn't just switch banks. I upgraded to a smarter, fee-free way to manage my money. No overdraft fees. Gotcha. No monthly fees. Gotcha. No minimum balances. Gotcha. Just banking that feels like it's finally on my side.
Yeah, what really surprised me was how useful the MyPay feature is, being able to access up to $500 of your paycheck anytime and get paid up to 2 days early makes such a difference. I've never felt more in control of my paycheck. And honestly, I wish I'd had this years ago.
Oh, if only there was a time machine, Dog. And you know what? Chime doesn't stop there. There's overdraft coverage you can count on. Tools that help build credit history stress-free, and savings that earn up to 3.5 APY, which is way higher than what I used to get. And when I've needed help, the customer service rated 5 stars by USA Today has been all real humans 24/7.
The new Chime card has been a standout for me too. It lets me build credit history with my own money while earning cash back on everyday spending. No annual fees, no interest. And once I set up qualifying direct deposits, I started earning 1.5% cash back on eligible purchases, Dan.
Chime is not just smarter banking, it's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. It just takes a few minutes to sign up. Head to chime.com/HTC. That is chime.com/HTC.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services, a secured Chime Visa credit card, and MyPay line of credit provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. MyPay eligibility requirements apply, and credit limit ranges $20 to $500. Optional services and products may have fees or charges. See chime.com/fees info. Advertised annual percentage yield with Chime Plus status only. Otherwise, 1.00% APY applies. No min balance required. Chime card on-time payment history may have a positive impact on your credit score. Results may vary. See chime.com for details and applicable terms.
Hey, Mark, I asked you last week about your Christmas shopping. Have you made any progress since then?
Well, it's a very busy time for us, Dan. You know that.
Oh, Sassy, you got to make time. Sounds like I know. Well, look, if you're still hunting for the right gift for that special person in your life, I know just the thing, Aura Frames. It's the gift that makes it look like you planned it all along. Thoughtful, personal, and easy. Basically, the holiday trifecta.
Honestly, Dan, it really is the perfect gift idea, especially because I always struggle to find something meaningful and useful. The last thing I want is my gift that I buy for someone shoved in a drawer or forgotten about as soon as Christmas is over.
Ah, tragic. I mentioned this before, but I'll tell you all again. Last year, I gave an Aura frame to my parents, preloaded it with family photos, some vacation shots, cute ones of the kiddos, all that. A year later, they absolutely love it. It sits in their living room, rotating through the memories all day long. Grandparents love that stuff. And the best part is you can preload photos before it ships and keep adding new ones anytime from anywhere. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it.
You are a good son. Okay, as soon as we're done with this read, I will order an Aura frame myself, especially because for a limited time, you can save on this perfect gift by using code HEEDTHECALL at auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. That's code HEEDTHECALL, all one word, at auraframes.com. This deal is exclusive to Hedonists, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now, ASAP, to get it in time for the holidays. Remember to use the code HEEDTHECALL at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we are back. Speaking of our boy Schein, by the way, we've had very few guests, and we let him know this after the fact, that had as high of a Q rating after their debut appearance.
You're right.
Than Adam Schein. And I said to Adam, I said, hey, man, the people love you. We'd love to have you on maybe during the playoffs or in the offseason. He's like, oh, absolutely, Dan. Anything you want. It was a text, but I assume that's what it sounded like. We love Adam Schein around here. Here is Schein. We had a nice, Mark, I think you pulled this one. This was a Schein update on Travion Henderson during the Cincinnati-Baltimore affair.
Yeah.
Spiro, Arch, after the Bills finally took the lead. Take a look at this. Travion Henderson, are you kidding me? Ensuing drive, first play, 65 yards to the house. Back to you.
He, in this game, this is like, people don't understand the layers of artwork to this. He did a game break, and then he tossed it back to a game that McCourty had. And in the middle of the call, adjusted it to note that blocking for the guy who scored the touchdown was a Rutgers star because McCourty went to Rutgers. And then he's like, back to you. And I was like, holy shit. Like, he's just doing this. Like, I mean, do you know how fast you have to write these things and how rapid that goes? He's brilliant at this.
And to his credit, also on that one we just played, like, I think the team that he, like, whoever, Pittsburgh, I don't know who had the ball, they were moving maybe a little faster than everyone expected, because the way he wraps that up back to you, it's like the play is starting again, and he fully understands, I got to get out of here. He's just amazing at this job.
Such a pro.
He's so hot, too. Oh, wait. No, I think we're getting too far. We're taking it too far now. This is a little bit too much.
He has nice hair. Very nice hair.
Great hair.
He's got everything going for him. But we're getting to the point where we might have to make a couple edits because it's starting to sound a little weird.
Right. Fanning out just a slight bit much.
Right. A little Fatal Attraction, little, Bunny in the Boiling Water vibes starting to come into focus over on Heed Corner. All right. Let's move to Cincinnati. What the... I mean, let me start here. Apologies to the Baltimore Ravens. I'll do it. I'm not too proud. We disregarded them. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals as the story going into this game. Joe Burrow and his ongoing saga and his feelings. It's like just playing Welcome to the Black Parade on repeat in his bedroom. Leave me alone, Mom. But the story, the Ravens aren't done. And they told you that. 24-0. They shut out the Bengals in Cincinnati in frigid temperatures. Baltimore snaps a 2-game losing streak. John Harbaugh called it the most complete game of the season. And the Bengals, if there was any doubt that they were cooked, they are certainly cooked at 4-10, much closer to a top 5 pick in the draft than making the playoffs. So, Yeah, good job by the Ravens in this game, Sessdog, taking care of business and kind of embarrassing a rival who, maybe still had a little bit of hope in the back of their minds.
It's a game that started with, as Connor tweeted us, with hundreds and hundreds of Bengals fans attempting to get into the stadium after the game had started. They had mistimed their tailgate, etc., but the processing issues, and so they missed the first part of the game. And many of those people had left by the end early because this was a total team collapse. There was one play that I thought kind of symbolized this entire game, but also the Bengals season. It is 3rd and 7 on the Baltimore 7. With 8 minutes to go. It's 17-0. This is your last chance, Cincinnati, to get into this game. Burrow throws a terrible pick right into the breadbasket of Kyle Van Noy, who, he's a little older and he probably knows he's not going to race to the house with it. Curves around towards the sideline. Aloy Gilman's near him. He basically hands off the ball like a relay runner would, like the little metal thing on a racetrack, and he goes 84 yards for the pick
baton,
six.
You mean?
A baton, yeah. That thing. But it was so incredible to watch because it was like, do you want this? He's like, yeah, I'll take it. And he just raced up the sideline. And they cut to Burrow multiple times. It just looks, to your point, he just looks so dejected and lost. It's like 4 degrees there. He's got like steam coming off his helmet. And this was an absolute collapse by a team that I thought looked like they never showed up to play in any aspect of the game. Aspect.
Here's Burrow after the game.
Today, there's not a team in the NFL that would have won the game today if I was the quarterback.
Short and to the point. And Connor, you and I were having a little fun before the show started. Like, there are limits to how much we will endure in terms of Joe Burrow, of all people, feeling sorry for himself, if that's indeed what's going on with him. But he played poorly. I locked up the Bengals here. Again, I have not had a lock that I've lost where I was this far off. Did anyone think that the Bengals are going to no-show in this game? I guess that the way that Bills game played out, and maybe the warning signs were there in retrospect, the way Burrow was talking going into this game, that was the one that put the knife through their heart, because obviously the score tells you that's what happened in this game. This was a dead team that didn't show up in their own building.
Could Burrow be, at this point, pointing to preparation? And the fact that, maybe he just feels like he's not getting coached up properly. This is what drives me nuts about him, about AJ Brown, about any of these guys. Just say what the you're trying to say, because you're very important and you're on a very expensive contract and your team's not going to get rid of you. And if you say that it's a preparation issue, they're going to get you a new head coach. If you say that you're not just playing well, then I guess that's different. Then say you're not playing well. I don't know. I hate this nebulousness.
It's nebulous.
Which is why I married an Italian person. It's good. You find out exactly what's wrong the second that it happens. And then you're just never wondering what the issue is. And I think Joe needs a little bit of that in his life.
Everyone that grew up in New York and New Jersey nodding their head to what Connor just said. Here's Alohi Gilman after the game. Gilman had that 84-yard return off an interception.
I think we're pissed off we lost it in the first time, I'm not going to lie. So that's kind of where that came from. But in the end of the day, it's about us. It's about us, about our defense, it's about our team. But, it was good to go out there and just put that on tape and let everyone know that we're ready to roll.
Mark, how did Lamar Jackson look in this game? His struggles have been obviously impossible to deny since coming back from injury, but he got back on the right track, it seems, here.
Better. I'm not convinced on any level that he's there physically, but he only threw the ball 12 times in this game. They just didn't need him to play hero, and that's probably the best situation for this team, because when Harbaugh calls it the most complete performance, it was a lot to do with, in the second half, what you want to see from the Ravens. Derrick Henry pummeling the Bengals with 29, 24, and 22-yard runs that basically ripped their heart out if it had already been. Lamar threw a beautiful 28-yard pass to Zay Flowers. Like, his arm is still there. Zay Flowers played well as he also, but it's like you need the people around Lamar to be doing the right things. One concern, Ronnie Stanley went down at one point. I want to see what's going on there, but they are still banged up. But it was a total team effort, and it starts really with the defense that completely shut down the Bengals. The pass rush was there. Things that haven't been there were there today. So I get where Harbaugh's coming from.
All right, let's and again, apologies to the Baltimore Ravens. That was disrespectful, and I don't know if you're actually good, but you certainly were very good today, at least in relation to the moribund Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll give you a little more shine next Thursday. Okay? See, by the way, we own up to our mistakes on the show. Yes, Connor.
Do you know this is the first game that Joe Burrow's ever lost after Week 15?
Wow.
Ever.
Yeah, it just seemed like everything was headed. This is again.
Insane.
That's another reason why I locked him up. I was like,
15.
okay, they're going to follow the script. He's playing great football. They're supposed to be favored in all these games, and I just thought they would roll to get to the 8 wins and then see what happens. But no, they were done.
Maybe that was a week ago, though.
Yeah,
maybe that was the Bills game.
They quit. They quit, and it's not a good look for Zach Taylor. And keep an eye on that after the season and where Joe Burrow's head is at. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. Let's head to New Orleans, where, who wants to win the NFC South? Anybody? Anybody? What a joke! I mean, are you kidding me? Like, you want me to care about the Panthers and believe in the Panthers, and you go down to New Orleans in a big spot after Tampa Bay blows a game in epic fashion and prime time, and you get beat? Tyler Shuck led the Saints on scoring drives in the final 5 minutes, 2 of them. The second one capped by the Irish kicker, Charlie Smith, a 47-yard field goal in the final seconds. 2017, Saints over Panthers. Saints move to 4-10, and the Panthers drop to 7-7. Sessy, I know you are a big Baker guy, a big Bucks guy. So just like Al Michaels, in a very low-level manner, talked about the celebration going on in Charlotte on Thursday.
And there's a little celebrating going on in Charlotte, North Carolina right now.
I guess, Mark, there's a little celebration going on in Tampa right now.
Okay, Delilah. There might be. I think they should hold off on getting too jubilant. It's to your point. It seems like everyone is very averse to working in January. Like, how quickly can we get out of here and get to our off seasons in this division?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've talked about it. Like, the Saints are better than their record might indicate, and Shuck has shown his mettle this season. But it's a game the Panthers absolutely need to win. And I want to give credit. First of all, let's give credit to the head coach of the Saints, Mr. Kellen Moore.
Ellen 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 Moore.
Who totally catches the Panthers flat-footed with a great play call, allowing Shuck to go unmolested straight through the middle of the defense. And then when he slides down to get Smith into field goal range, but on the edge of field goal range, so shocked, Connor, are the Panthers that they hit him late as he slides down, tacking on 15 yards, making it a makeable kick for Smith, who drilled it from 47. Shout out to good scheming and making the opponent look terrible when the game's on the line.
If this was at all the design, then Kellen Moore's a genius. And this is how maniacal some of these coaches are. But if you look at the way that the formation was, so the guy that hit him is a rookie. So it's one of those things that you're just going to throw something at him that he's never seen before. But the center and the 2 guards were completely uncovered right? You're just trying to defend that field goal range, that first down area. New Orleans had no timeouts left. And my God, was that brilliant. I mean, he's just going to get enough yards to get him closer. And then the just getting whacked by the Panthers defender. I was like up in the air screaming in my living room. That was probably my favorite part of the day. It's crazy.
I don't think Tyler Shuck remembers a single second of the rest of the day after that. He did not look to have any wherewithal after that play, but heroic.
Yeah, and what are these? They're both tied now, Bucs and Panthers, correct? At 500. It comes down to what they do in their final 3 games. They have a head-to-head matchup, I believe, as well. And, Bryce Young is the other part of it. He had a chance to put this team away, put a bad Saint. They're a bad team. They're better than people realize, but it's not like the Saints are a good team. You got to win this game, and they had multiple chances to kind of seal this game. They couldn't get the first downs necessary to kill the clock, left them vulnerable, and in the end, they get beat. So it's a brutal loss. I love it. I love the Irish angle of this. Shout out to all our listeners over on the Emerald Isle. Charlie Smith is a great story. I hope
they mentioned that he didn't even know on the broadcast that the pathway program that gets you into the NFL, like a couple years ago, didn't even know it existed. So wow.
I mean, this guy, he was like a school teacher, and we talked about it. He's from a village in Northern Ireland that's like a few thousand people live, and now he's making big kicks and winning games in the NFL. Shout out International Pathway Program and Henry Hodgson, who's done incredible work in helping to build that and really make the NFL a global game. Anyway, here's Charlie Smith.
I was just delighted to get the opportunity, and we've got a great operation, and I never even have to think about
looks like my cousin,
the ball being in the right spot and with the right hole, because Zach and Kay are so good. And
he's just crushing it in New Orleans with that accent, I bet.
Oh, can you imagine? You get a lilting Irish brogue, and you go down to the what do they call that area?
French Quarter with that.
Yeah, and they got the oldest bar in the United States down there in the French Quarter, and he fits right in.
Hi, I'm a handsome guy on literally the Saints with this accent. You want to go home with me? Sure. Absolutely. Another win for Charlie Smith as he goes up in the elevator. Oh, I put this one right through the uprights once more. What a life I live here in the French Quarter. You want to come upstairs with me? Sure. I'll treat you right, just like I treat that ball right. I put it right through. Over the crossbar and in between the uprights she goes. May the wind rise to meet you. Wait, may the road rise to meet. Help me, Connor. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back.
Yeah.
Especially when kicking that oblong ball through.
She's like, maybe I'll pass.
Good for him. All right, let's move to Chicago. Yeah, you may know Billie Eilish, Justin, but do you know the Irish Blessing? You got a lot to learn, young man. Da Bears, they continue to win football games. This one easily 31-3 over the moribund Cleveland Browns, now 3-11. Caleb Williams, 2 touchdown passes, and Shedeur Sanders, 3 interceptions, and in very, very uncomfortable conditions. Bears fans don't care because they went home with another W in their back pocket. They moved to 10-4 and continue to solidify themselves in the NFC North. Connor, was it as easy as it looked in the box score?
Yes. And I will say this, one of Shedeur Sanders' picks was not his fault. And this Jerry Jeudy thing keeps happening where he hit Jeudy right in the chest, in the end zone on a beautiful ball. And he just let the Bears defender just take it away from him. I don't know what's going on with him this year, but he's had 3 of the most hilarious turnovers of the season.
Oh, I know. He sucks. He's not a winner. There's some players are not winning players.
Right.
Jerry Jeudy is one of those players. And as the Browns continue their rebuild, con man, there are certain men to get out of the building. the losers, and certain guys to bring into the building, the winners.
They're calling him a number one wide receiver, please.
Yeah, but this was a kind of a wall-to-wall, just an excellent, well-distributed Bears victory. I mean, Luther Burden had a big game. Colston Loveland had a good game. DJ Moore had a good game. And Caleb Williams threw this touchdown to DJ Moore that I had to watch 8 times to see if I could understand how it was completed, and I still have no idea how.
I think we have some sound on that. Ben Johnson on the Caleb kind of scramble and beautiful throw to Moore, who even after Moore caught it, he's like, yeah, bro, we're those dudes.
I would say 99% of quarterbacks, you tell them don't even waste your time looking back there and trying to make that throw. There's usually bad things that happen, and yet he's got the ability to make that throw. And DJ made a heck of a play there right on the back line as well. So
I'll say this, Shedeur Sanders is not a slouch, but and he is a quarterback who can use his mobility in a smart way. But when you look at him juxtaposed to what Caleb Williams can do in a backfield, not only to evade sacks, but to buy time and to throw on the run and all the different angles, his status as a magician and quite possibly in 4 or 5 years as the best quarterback in the NFL, I think you can see it. It just when you compare him to other quarterbacks of his age and of his experience level, he's just so advanced. And I really do think the sky's the limit for this guy.
You want to play the Browns right now. Like, we get it. And the Bills are going to trounce the next week and all that's great. Like, for me, like, the story, obviously, there's only one story in Cleveland, and it's Myles Garrett. And he's reached his 21st sack. He's 1.5 away. And you have the Bills at home next week and then the Pittsburgh Steelers. Imagine that happening in either situation, and it's going to. And it's just like, I feel so bad for him to be stuck on this team. That really is like, they're basically a team building for far away. They lead the league in rookie rushing and receiving yardage. And it looks like it. They got a bunch of rookies and young players out there. And Garrett's still doing this on a team that is unable to support him and putting that defense in terrible position. So I want to watch that with my own eyes. I think it's one of the most special things for the league for that to happen, to correct that sack record. And I want it to happen in the next 2 weeks, so you don't get any jazz about it happening in week 18 and what that means compared to past records. I'm going to get my sack back.
It's like, just get it before somebody falls on your ankle or whatever.
Right,
it's like, at this point, it's just like, get it as soon as you can before the football gods think otherwise around a Cleveland Brown. I for one, I've talked about this for years on the show. Yeah, let's give the sack record its dignity back, and then let's maybe think about trading Myles Garrett in the offseason. I know we could also build a Myles Garrett statue and let him play his whole career in Cleveland, but again, like, this guy, he's going to have 25 sacks potentially in a season where the team goes 3-14.
It's wild.
Like, and I tweeted about this today, and then someone immediately wrote, like, can't trade him, can't do it, not with his contract. Figure it out. Take the bath, whatever it takes, because you're in a deep rebuild anyway. I just feel like that's a conversation that has to be had, and I know we don't need to get into it now, but it's a thing that I think about, how much he could fetch if Micah Parsons got 2-1s. I feels like a starting point for Myles Garrett at this point in his career and his
trade
resume.
High. Trade high, not next offseason, right?
Anyway, but good luck to Myles Garrett. All right, let's move on to Philadelphia. I mean, you want to talk about the most obvious outcome of Week 15. This was it. The dead-ass Raiders starting Kenny Pickett going to Philadelphia against an Eagles team that is pissed off and desperately needs a win. And you get what you get. 31-0. Eagles over Raiders. Jalen Hurts gets back on track. Everybody gets back on track in this game. Just like we told you on Thursday was going to happen, this was the perfect get-right opponent for an Eagles that desperately needed good vibes in and around their building, and they got it, Justin.
I don't think the offseason can come fast enough for Las Vegas, but for Philly, they've got their sights set on the postseason, and just as you said, this was an absolute get-right game. The defense, and we keep pointing this out on this show, shout out to us, that the difference between this season and the 2023 season is that Philly's defense is not collapsing. They held the Raiders to 75 total yards today, which, their offense was great. It was, normal. It wasn't like super incredible eye-popping numbers for anybody, but they all produced well. The stars all produced. Hurts was making nice throws down the field to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. And I think Brown only had 2 catches, but one of them was a touchdown. Saquon Barkley had a nice game himself. He did leave briefly with some sort of injury, but came back in the game, so nothing to worry about there. Brandon Graham had his first sack since coming back out of retirement. So big day for the guys who came out of retirement. Obviously, Phillip Rivers and Brandon Graham here in this game. There's not a whole lot else to say. As you said, Dan, like if you've been watching football this year, this is maybe the one time this season the NFL didn't say, gotcha. It was more like, here's exactly what you expected.
Well, they just needed to quiet things down. Like, if anything, it's 1 week where we're not having the same conversation about the Eagles and the Eagles' issues. And I know we're thinking they're going to go to the postseason and take a dirt nap, but there is one person out there, Justin, who believes that is not their fate.
Want to give it go Birds? Go Birds, man. All the way. You got to win the Super Bowl again.
That's Joe Biden, Dan, telling you that, we're all wrong. The Eagles are going to win it again.
He wasn't talking about a football game, though. He was just talking about birds in general. He's just like,
well, we don't. That's
he saw like a bird fly over the stadium. He's like, go Birds. You can't prove it. You can't prove that's not what actually happened. The only storyline, and go ahead, get your hopes up, Eagles fans. I love it. Just keep on beating all these total bottom feeders of the league over the next few weeks, and then it will make what happens in January even better. But the only thing I really want to know is Pete Carroll going to get fired in 3 weeks? It just feels, Connor, like you can't continue to lose and then lose like this. Like, I don't care what team it is, owners pay attention to it and they talk with their people, and when the team is non-competitive week after week after week, it's only fair to wonder if this goes beyond talent, if it's more a systemic breakdown overall. I'm just curious if Carroll goes one and done here.
So credit another time to HTC on our inaugural Hot Butts show. Remember, we moved Pete from the safe side into the fire because that's an unusual short-term contract and it's very easy to move on from. And I noted in my coaching list last week that they actually offered Robert Saleh a big money deal as the DC this offseason in the hopes that maybe there was a transition period where they could just transition from Pete to Robert Saleh at some point. So I think they always viewed this as a quick turnover in their heads just to kind of stabilize themselves and give them an idea of what they want. But that time may be coming sooner rather than later.
Let me just unsolicited advice to Bob Saleh, who I like. He seems like a really good dude. If you're going to get another shot at being a head coach, please don't jump from the Jets.
Well, he made the right decision to go to San Francisco.
Yeah. But if they offer you this job in a month, think very hard about are you being put in a position to really get a second crack at this? Because when you fail a second time as a head coach, you do not get a third try. This is a tough job because the Raiders just are kind of a busted up organization right now. All right, let's take a break and then we'll close this out.
What's up? It's Draymond Green. I'm back for my 14th NBA season, and my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories, and sitting down with teammates, rivals, and culture shapers. And trust me, I'm not holding back. On the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow The Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back. We're better. Let's get it.
I've bought a lot of glasses over the years, and I used to think you had to choose between style, comfort, or price, right? Turns out you don't. Warby Parker changed all that. They make every frame with premium materials so everything feels sturdy and looks sharp. Their in-house designs come in tons of colors and fits, which means there's a pair that actually flatters you. And with over 300 stores across the US and Canada, you can get styled by their friendly advisors or shop online from home.
Yeah, they're super friendly. I've been to the store here in LA, and they are incredibly effective at what they do. Warby Parker glasses start at just $95, including prescription lenses with anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coatings. Now, for me, I don't need prescription lenses. Perfect. The old blue eyes. The new old blue eyes, that is. But I did grab myself a pair of the classic timber sunglasses, and I honestly get compliments all the time, Sassy.
Yeah, well, I don't doubt that you're giving yourself some as well, but I do wear prescription lenses, and another reason I love Warby Parker, well, at their stores, eye exams start at just $85, and in fact, you can save 15% when you grab 2 or more pairs. You lose them, you need 2. Plus, you get free shipping and free 30-day returns. It's basically risk-free. I shop at Warby Parker, and you, Dan, should too.
I do. Warby Parker has over 300 locations to help you find your next pair of glasses. You could also head over to warbyparker.com/HTC right now to try on any pair virtually. That's warbyparker.com/HTC, warbyparker.com/HTC. All right. We are back. We told you that Philadelphia was the most obvious winner in Week 15. Well, I did forget about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's head to Duval. Here's another team that I want to give them their flowers because the Jaguars are playing awesome and Trevor Lawrence is playing awesome. But man, you got to make sure you're checking some of the teams they're playing before we go all in on Trevor Lawrence is now the guy we thought he was. He could be. And when you watch a game like this, you're like, holy shit, it's finally happening. It took 5 years and it's finally happening. Lawrence was unbelievable against a Jets defense that was non-competitive. The Jets defense struggled to get to third down in this game. Forget about fourth down or punting. Third down. Lawrence has 6 touchdowns, and rest in peace if he was your opponent in fantasy. Doing whatever he wanted. 5 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown rushing, 330 yards through the air. No turnover. This is crucial also. 0 turnovers, 3rd straight games. 48-20, Jaguars over the Jets, who, Stunner did not have an interception in this game.
Well,
you gotta be kidding me. And yeah, so that's the story of this game. I mean, the story of this game, Connor, is Lawrence and his continued ascent with Liam Cohen. They got something going. Now we see, is this going to work when you get into the crucible portion of the season? But things are on track right now.
I don't know that it is, right? Because Liam Cohen said it after the game, like, oh, we like passing the ball. This needs to be a run-first team. It has to be a run-first team. And if you look in the box score and you start to take away some of the, like Nick Mullins kneeled down 3 times, okay, that lowers your runs till 24. Then Trevor Lawrence carried the ball 5 times. It was actually the team's leading rusher. They barely ran the ball against this Jets team. This was all Trevor Lawrence kind of dropping back, having fun, and playing 7-on-7. Nobody could sack him. He was running. Like, everything was just phenomenal. This is not a game that you could copy and paste against any meaningful opponent in the NFL. They would lose by 3 touchdowns. That said, I mean, it's so cool to be able to see the fun Lawrence, and when he's having a good time, and when he's able to scramble and throw and to get Brian Thomas involved, like it's a good vibes game, I think, for Jacksonville.
I think you put that beautifully, because watching this game, of course, they probably had the idea that we want to have an even distribution, pass and run, and really keep the defense on its heels. But it was like the Jets were so non-competitive in their back end and so terrible in their linebacker. They have the worst linebackers in football. It's going to be a major point of emphasis in the offseason around this Jets team, is rebuilding that group. It was taking candy from a baby. There were touchdowns in this game. I think it was the second Travis Etienne, or the first touchdown he had, where he just runs a little wiggle over the middle and he's untouched. There's no one around him inside the 10-yard line. And it's like, yeah, we could run the ball, but they literally can't cover us. They don't know how. They have no answers. Rich Cimini of ESPN.com had an incredible stat about Steve Wilks, the Jets defensive coordinator, who I trashed on the Thursday preview, if you were paying attention, that he has had 5 consecutive one-and-done stays in the NFL, either as a head coach or as a DC. I would be stunned if it's not 6, because the Jets, I know they're talent deficient, especially after Sauce and Quinnen Williams removed, but this team has no answers and no ability to counter, especially when you're against a guy like Liam Cohen, who is just in his bag and having a ball in this game, Connor.
And one quick counter, because yes, maybe they want to be a balanced or run-heavy team, run-first team, but if you have a chance to go lift the spirits of Trevor Lawrence and have him go dominate like this and have him and Liam Cohen produce this kind of work through the air, it's like, I'll take it. I think it's important for him because he has been kind of this mystery figure. But for your test, they've got the Broncos next in Denver.
Here is Travis Etienne on the red-hot Trevor Lawrence.
Nah, not at all. I don't think I ever seen Trev like this. I feel like we won a national championship together, and I feel like he's just out there. He's on fire, man. Like, you seen it. He rolled out again, and he just kind of stopped and just park us down there somewhere, And,
yeah. And one last thing. Brady Cook, undrafted rookie, started for the Jets. He actually had some moments in this game.
TD past A.D. Mitchell there. Looked off the defender, created an opening. Yeah.
He didn't seem totally overwhelmed. He was the first undrafted rookie quarterback to start for the Jets since Bill Demery. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. In 1973. I had a little fun on Twitter. I sent out a tweet. Can you fly it up, Justin? Fun fact, this is the 14th consecutive year the Jets have started an undrafted rookie at quarterback in Week 15. Clearly in jest. Not taken that way. As we do the show, 600,000 views on this, 12,000 likes, 220 retweets, and 37 comments. Everyone thinking that's an actual stat. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to mislead. I see how the misinformation age has taken hold at this point. It was a bit. It's not the 14th consecutive year. It just feels that way. But shout out to Brady Cook's mom, by the way. Underrated favorite aspect of NFL television is the unheralded rookie or kid or whoever it is getting their first chance in the pros, and then you get the shot of mom proud after the touchdown to Mitchell. I was like, oh, that's nice.
There have been a lot of Jets QB
dad
moms.
was like shaking her. It was great.
Yeah, it was a nice moment, and it made me think of my own mom. So shout out, Debbie, if you're listening right now. All right, let's move to San Francisco. Was Cam great? I'll let Justin tell you, but I know who was great. Brock Purdy, 23 of 30, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey gave you his usual effort, 3.5 yards per carry, actually 3.3, but he finds the end zone again. Ricky Pearsall returns from the mist with a productive game, and George Kittle does George Kittle things. Final score, 49ers 37, Tennessee Titans now 2-12, 24. Justin, what'd you take out of this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is a Niners story. They're the playoff team. The Titans are, on track for another top 5 pick. But no, Cam Ward was not great. He was fine. He had a really nice touchdown pass to Gunnar Helm. Another pretty nice touchdown pass to Jeffrey Simmons, of all people, after scrambling around for over 6 seconds, which I love this stat. I love when we add qualifier after qualifier after qualifier to make a stat the first thing ever. It was the longest time to throw when targeting a defensive player in the Next Gen Stats era. So shout out to Cam Ward for that. But no, the Niners...
That's a very meaningless stat.
That is about as esoteric and obtuse as
Really.
one could draw up.
Yeah.
Yes. Fire that into the sun.
Or have Dan tweet it.
Exactly.
But no, the 49ers were an unstoppable machine on offense in this game. The only drive that they didn't score points on was one where Jeffrey Simmons was able to knock the ball free from Brock Purdy's hand as he was getting ready to throw it. One of those, like, his arm wasn't quite coming forward yet. We're going to review and see if it was an incomplete pass or a fumble. It was a fumble, and then Jeffrey Simmons caught his touchdown pass on the ensuing drive as like a reward for good job. You're the only player on this team that forced the 49ers to end a drive not with a kick, either field goal or extra point. So the 49ers were just rolling in this game. Every player that you mentioned, Dan, was making plays, and the Titans defense is so, I mean, there's so many guys that are practice squad level players playing meaningful snaps that you're never going to learn anything about a team playing the Titans. So we didn't learn anything about the Niners except that they continue to be really, really good under Kyle Shanahan coming off their bye week.
4-game winning streak now. And isn't it crazy though, like the CMC thing? Like he's going to finish the season with like 3.5 yards per carry, but he's having a great season statistically. I think he has a chance to go Roger Craig 1,000, right? Like kind of.
I worry about his usage a little bit though. It's like he's just getting like. Don't you want to make sure he's fresher? I don't know. 3.3 yards per carry though today.
That's fair. All right, let's keep moving here. 2 more games. Let's head to Houston. I like this song. Dun, 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 dun. I feel better when the song comes on. I wouldn't feel better if I was Jonathan Gannon. I wouldn't be feeling dope as hell because my team got blown out again, doubled up. Speaking of teams, the season can't end soon enough. Christ. Texans continue their surge, 40-20 over the Cardinals. Yeah, you get a couple Jake Brisket garbage time scores, 3 in fact. And who do they go to? The same guys that get all the points, fantasy points, and otherwise for the Cardinals in Trey McBride, 12 for 134 and 2 touchdowns. Michael Wilson, 5 for 54 and another touch. But the story, obviously, yeah, dope as hell. Shoom, shoom, shoom. Story is the Texans, of course. CJ Stroud continues to ball out. I mean, this is the thing everybody has to plug in on. Stroud is starting to look like Stroud again. The rookie sensation Stroud. And if you pair that CJ Stroud with this defense, you got something, Sessy. You got something big.
Yeah, they were. The score, if you just looked at the score, it's deceiving because it happened late for the Cardinals. They were up 30-7. This is against a defense that has vanished from the earth, so I get that. But Nico Collins was dominant today. Dalton Schultz, who I just feel like is a piece. That's how I'd call him typically, like he's just there. But he had a big game today. They had a couple injuries at running back, and this guy, Jahar Jordan, came in and looked like a new weapon in their offense. He was really exciting and dominant and gave them power after power. They just did not let the Cardinals back in. When that happened, this thing was so far over. And it's like every time the offense goes and does that, then the defense is blowing you up with pressure. They're getting you out of there on 3 and outs. They're confusing quarterbacks. Like, it is a great formula. And it's like they are a team right now, to your point about like, what can happen in the AFC? Like, you get them on the wrong day, like they're going to dominate and mess you up. And you're right, Stroud looked dialed in today. It was another good performance by him. And if they're healthy and they got these pieces, and if you get Nico Collins to play this way, they to me are a team that they're a little bit frightening. And I think they're growing up on offense, where that was their big problem, their Achilles before.
He looked like he had so many answers today. And I think that was the biggest difference between Stroud in those first few weeks of the season. And maybe that was a discomfort in the new scheme. But now it's like within a second or two off the snap, there is a very obvious way or person to throw the ball to. And he just seems so much more confident. And, you know, it's not like the offensive line got markedly better. It's not like anything else really changed all that much. So I give them a lot of credit. I think that was a lot of adjustment on the back end by the coaches.
I mean, everything is clicking with this team right now. They've won 6 straight. They go over 40 points for the second time this season. Stroud's playing lights out. Marks goes out there, running back. He gets banged out. Banged up, but Jawar Jordan comes in, practice squad running back, 101 yards on 15 carries.
He looked awesome, dude. I don't know if it was a one-game thing, but
it's all coming together, and they are dangerous. Texans, Jaguars, 2 big-time heavyweight teams coming out of the South is not something I would have predicted, and yet here we are. All right, last game before Sunday Night Football, it was the orphan in our draft in Week 15, but we're going to take you through it anyway. Here we go. To the Meadowlands. 2 dead-ass teams. The deeply disappointing and beat-up Washington Commanders and the Giants. I don't know what else needs to be said. Just say the Giants. Do battle. It is the Commanders that come out on top 29-21. Marcus Mariota. Shout out to Mariota. I remember killing Mariota on our podcast after he quit on the Falcons a couple of years ago and just like went home. Like he took his ball and went home. And I'm like, I guess that's it for this guy. He's got his career continues. It rolls on. And he gets it done. And the Giants are continuing to lose 2-12, The Commanders' losing streak is over. They're 4-10. What a day at the Meadowlands.
This had a wild moment near the end when the Commanders are basically just trying to run the ball out and take the win. And Jerry McNichols fumbles. And the Giants have like one of those plays where they successfully lateraled it like 3 times. And they had a chance to go for a touchdown and 2-point conversion. They would have been right back in this thing. They would have tied it. And you don't see that too often. There's a couple famous plays like that, but you got to hold on to the ball in that
I don't want to go conspiracy theory, but the Giants don't want anything to do with winning another game. Right now they are in position, I think, to pick number 1 in the draft, and they believe they have their quarterback, which means that pick could be up for sale, and it could change the trajectory of their organization if they make the right decision. And speaking of which, they believe they have the right quarterback in Jackson Dart, Connor, but this via Pat Leonard of the Daily News. Dart was evaluated for a concussion in this game. He was cleared, but he did go to the blue tent early in the fourth quarter. That is his fifth evaluation since he entered the NFL, including the preseason. Only 1 diagnosed, but this continues to be, there's so much going wrong around the Giants, but Dart is the one kind of beacon of hope for this organization. There's no other way to look at it. It's the one thing. It's just like the creeping death with this organization, the fear that this is a recurring thing and could endanger a really promising career.
He did have an interesting take on it post-game, though, because he was frustrated, and maybe you learned this from Dable, but he was mad at the spotter, just like Dable was mad at the spotter a couple weeks ago. But he feels, and he's worried that he's becoming typecast as a player who gets concussions, and he feels like he's being taken out of the game at inappropriate times. And it's interesting that Tua kind of had waves of a similar complaint after this stuff started happening to him like 2 years ago, and that since kind of gone away, and we don't really micromanage all of Tua's snaps anymore. But it's going to be interesting to kind of keep an eye on that going forward. He plays in a gigantic market, and even if that team's not good, every time he gets hit now, people are going to wonder whether that's like a subconcussive or a concussive blow. So it's just going to be something he's going to have to deal with.
All right. That's it for the early and late afternoon slate. Let's close it with a little Sunday Night Football. J.J. McCarthy redemption season picking up a little steam. The second-year passer for the Vikings bounces back from an early interception to play a very, very solid game, finishing 15 of 24, 2 touchdowns. Also a naked bootleg where he's dancing on his way to the goal line. He's got that little wiggle and that got a little riz to him. It's nice. It's a nice development for the Vikings, who knock off the Cowboys, really end the Cowboys season 34-26 in Jerry World. Terrible job, Cowboys. I wondered about this one, Ceci. I said on Thursday, I know the Cowboys should win this game, but I kind of want to see how this team looks after the Lions deflated the balloon. And I want to see if now they're just going to do a Cowboys thing. And this was a Cowboys thing. You got to win this game. And instead you get outplayed pretty much from that point after the interception and score from Dallas. For the rest of the game, Minnesota just dominated, and both teams are now steaming toward the offseason.
Yeah, 6 scoring drives by the Vikings. The young quarterback bouncing back. It doesn't involve Justin Jefferson, so it's not like you just leaned on your biggest star. That's still sort of a question mark. But I think what it undoes a little bit is we were in this place where the Dallas defense had grown, it had evolved, it was stopping the run, it was a factor, and all you needed was Dak Prescott and the offense to take off. But they've really fallen off a cliff in the last couple of weeks. Like, the Lions blew their doors off. They were eviscerated tonight, and the offense then has to go out there and make up for it. And you get one of the weirder nights from one of the best kickers in all of football with 2 missed field goals from Brandon Aubrey. Like, it doesn't add up.
I just wonder if you're Dallas, and yes, and I'll admit that part of this is very satisfying because I think the narrative over the last few weeks was, Connor was very mad at mean to Jerry Jones, and like, maybe the old fox didn't outfox the hen house and figured it out and turned the Cowboys around, and maybe
Let's
Brian
give Connor
Schottenheimer
his
was a great
victory here.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice Sunday night.
You not only lost the Vikings, but you were so flummoxed that like a guy who's become a meme was literally doing the gritty on the field of play before he crossed over the plane of the end zone. Like that is a fucking embarrassment. And, it just,
And I think the lesson is like that even bad defenses could have little surges in a season.
Yeah.
And they certainly did get better when Quinnen Williams got there. And you can't take away them beating the two Super Bowl teams back-to-back weeks. But then reality has a way of catching up with teams, and they kind of return back to their weight class. And they're 6-7-1 now. This feels like a team that, 8-1 probably is kind of the realm where they land. Even if they win this game and win out, they had very little chance of getting in the playoffs. So it's not like this was some earth-shaking development in the NFC, but it's more just like, come on. I mean, when you're in prime time, you have to take care of your business at home, and you can't, and you fall on your face. And it's the story of the Dallas Cowboys for 30 years now. So Cowboys fans rightfully pissed off that this is the performance that they deliver. And, on the Vikings side of things, yeah, Justin Jefferson, 2 for 22, but like we said, they're going to target him a ton because they want to try to keep him happy. 8 targets. They threw one right through his hands in the end zone. JJ could probably take a little bit off the fastball on that. But, Justin Jefferson's got to make that catch. He's Justin Jefferson, but that's the kind of year. I think Collinsworth even said that. He's like, it's that kind of year. Like, no, because he had a touchdown. This is Justin Jefferson's rage has to be through the roof. He has a touchdown catch in this game that comes back on an illegal procedure by the Minnesota offense, and that's when Collins were just not. Sometimes it's not your year. Later in the game, he's open in the corner of the end zone. The ball goes right through his hands. So the Jefferson experience, especially for you fantasy owners, I'm sure you're eliminated from the playoffs at this point after another dud. That's the negative. But the bigger story is J.J. McCarthy has now put together 2 games in a row where he's been definitely helping the cause and showing growth. And that's important because this is a development period for the Vikings, Mark, and I think we're going to see how he looks in these next few games is really going to dictate, I think, the offseason plan for the Vikings. So if you're a Vikings fan or just a football fan, what does it mean the end of this Minnesota season? It means a lot because J.J. McCarthy's in an open audition for being the future of this team.
Yeah, it was a step. And it's also a big night for Kevin O'Connell. It's like there were people starting to doubt everything from the top on down, and it's, again, I just think we're in this place in covering football and watching football where it's like 4 weeks in, we know who JJ McCarthy is. Not that we use those words, but it's like he's the answer or he's not. And it's like we just don't know. It's an unsolved mystery at this point. It really is. And like tonight is a step. It goes kind of against the grain of like, wait a minute, I can go into Dallas on a big night and overcome an early mistake, which could unseat you, and all the stuff that's being talked about you and you're a meme and all these businesses. Like, it could like unspool the whole thing. And instead he delivers from there on out, one of his strongest performances. So it's like, where would we be 18 games from now or 25 games from now? It's like, I just don't want to judge these guys like 80 hours into their play. But
nothing
that's the
about
life.
These last 2 games changes what I think should be what Minnesota does, which is go get a highly capable and proven backup quarterback.
And they will.
Give yourself a security net behind this guy. But, he ends the season like this. There's going to be some reason for optimism. And considering where we were about 2 weeks ago, that's a big deal when he was in the concussion protocol and the worst football player we've ever seen, Jamarcus Russell bad. Like, this is big growth, Connor, in the last 2 weeks. And let's see if he can sustain it.
And for a player that I think that's a little bit what we worried about. And if you listen to him talk, I mean, he was apologizing to his teammates for his slow growth. And you could tell that he's done a lot of work on himself. And I think that you worry about a quarterback kind of just losing grip, right? And floating out into the ether after you put out that Jamarcus Russell stat. It was one of the worst statistical performances by a quarterback in a single game in like the last quarter century. And so to come back and put together what was probably like a top 10 or 12 performance this week in a massive week with a lot of big games and good quarterbacks playing, hell yeah. I mean, I'm happy for him, and we all should be. Like, that's awesome. He's still so young, you know?
You're just happy that Jared is going to sleep pissed tonight. Let's be
well,
real.
It could be both. It could be both. Both, Connor.
What are you more happy about, JJ climbing out of the muck a little bit, or Jera just firing servants and like kicking the dog and, you know, just peeling out in his limo in anger?
I think it was just the amount of we all tickled him for a few weeks. Like we were all very excited.
Low percentage of this.
We tickled his tonsils.
Smiles.
There's a lot of tonsil
hopes.
tickling going on, and it got to the point where everyone was like, maybe just a master stroke with the whole.
Oh, stop it! Now you're going too far. There were certainly some highs and lows.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying people on this show. I'm saying a lot of.
I know, but
that was the bounce back from him getting absolutely massacred verbally for the changes he did.
Connor was presenting the Jared Jones team in September as like a 4-13 train wreck. We know where you were trying to go with it. It's been a little more up and down, but ultimately not successful, which makes it just like every season the Cowboys have had since Troy Aikman was the quarterback. Anyway,
instead they have 6 wins. So
yeah, they'll go 8-8-1, and it won't matter. The Cowboys at some point will return to relevance, but it won't be this season. All right, one more game tomorrow night, Miami at Pittsburgh. We'll have the recap on the Monday night show, Mark and I with Justin, power rankings, of course, and then the wheel continues to turn. Crazy week. Great show, boys. Justin, anything you want to add?
I would like to say there's a lot of pressure on Mark to get his lock right tomorrow so that the show doesn't go 0 for 4 this week. So Mark locked the Steelers.
Well, we see how Mark handles pressure. I mean, he's...
Well, can I present it from a different angle? It's a great opportunity to completely shine. Like the three of you botched it, and like if I lose, I'm just part of the ship going off a cliff. But like if I win, it's like it's one of the more hilarious moments of the entire season in terms of.
Can you make us a promise and make the audience a promise? If you get your lock tomorrow, can you do the 7 Nation Army dance that I was doing earlier on Monday night show? Can you give the audience that a little?
I'll do
give us that?
Yes. I will do it. I promise.
All right, we're all rooting for Sessler.
Even
tomorrow night, we are all Mark.
We're all rooting for the Steelers to beat the Dolphins.
No,
right, Connor?
No.
Oh, Connor's favorite.
That's another
team.
little Connor.
Another little pet project for Connor. Just trying to find his victories all over this universe.
You couldn't save a pet today.
All right. Till then, do what you must. Heed the call.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.